All right, today we're going to be looking at the building mechanism on Godzilla Premium. I'm helping a long distance customer here. So first let's open up the game, get the glass off so we can see better. So grab your keys, the key with your game, open the coin door, reach in and feel the metal latches, unlatch them from the lockdown bar. You can look inside the door. We're not sure where the latches are at or what they look like. Close the door and slide the glass out. I'm going to use protective corners since I have a concrete floor, but if you have a carpet or a towel or something, that works just fine. On his game, the building started getting stuck, and then it makes a loud noise when it gets stuck. That's because underneath there's a plastic gear and a belt, and if the building can't move, the belt spins on the gear, so that's what that noise is. So the main thing you want to check is if it's rubbing on anything on any of the sides. We've sold a lot of these games. I've only had to deal with this problem once or twice. So it's not super widespread, but it's something other people might see. So I'm looking at the gap between the building and everything around it. I have had one case where a screw similar to this, a black screw on the outside of the building, worked its way loose on somebody's game, and that's what was rubbing. So far this customer hasn't been able to see anything like that, but there's all kinds of things with a close clearance. So you have to look really carefully, and then you'll need to check the building at different heights to see. And the first customer that I had that I helped with this issue, it took me multiple tries to find what it was. It wasn't obvious the first time. So this is a brand new one that we just unboxed, and it's working correctly. So we'll see if these reference photos help you at all. Looks like it's pretty centered as far as the building mech compared to the square cutout in the playfield. All right, we're gonna run the building test a little bit here. And if your building is stuck and the test doesn't seem to be working out, you can turn the building by hand, which we've done with this customer as well. But let me run the building up and down to a couple different positions so we can see what it could potentially hang up on. So you notice I opened the door, I pulled this interlock switch that allows us to run tests while the door is open, which we need to do. So we're going to use the black button to enter the menu, black button again, black button for diagnostics, right red button to go to game specific tests, black button to enter, right red button to go to building stepper motor test, and black to enter. All right, so this is our building test. I'm gonna hit the right red button. You'll notice it went down by a floor. So you can recheck at each floor and see if anything's rubbing. And you can listen, hear if it sounds like it's, you know, hitting something or rubbing. You go down to each floor. You'll notice at the bottom, the roof barrier thing goes up, so it can release the balls for multi-ball. That's normal. And if yours is getting stuck, try to maybe notice what floor it's at when it gets stuck, and that might give you kind of a hint, so you can put it at that floor and then really scrutinize if it's rubbing on anything. All right, let's talk about options if it is rubbing on something and causing an issue. First of all, if you see anything up here that is rubbing against, for example, I think I even had one where it was rubbing on the plastic for the bridge. It looks like this has plenty of clearance though. But if you see something on the top side, then it can be addressed from the top. And, you know, maybe it's something like a ramp that's too close, and maybe you can loosen it up and try to shift it out of the way and then retighten it. Or, you know, on some games, I'm not saying you'd have to do it on this game, but if a plastic is rubbing, sometimes I'll even Dremel the plastic a little bit to make it sit a little bit further away. But if you do see something on the top side, and in the case of this customer, he can let me know and I will advise him with a possible solution. But most likely we're gonna be looking at the bottom side. So let's look at the bottom next. I turn the game off. We're gonna take the balls out so we can tilt the playfield up. So here's how you take the balls out. You put your fingers right here, push it up hard. Do that 6 times until the balls are out. All right, I went 2 by 2, took all 6 balls out. Now we're gonna tilt the playfield up. To tilt the playfield up, grab from right here, get it started by pushing up and setting it on the service rails. Close the door to get it out of the way. Grab the service rails, pull forward. When you encounter resistance here at the end, you can start pulling it back and push it against the back box. All right, this is what the building back looks like from the bottom. Very impressive, right? So if your building is stuck, or if you just want to move it manually with the game off, I've found that you can actually turn from right here. So right now it's all the way up, so I can't turn it really any far left, but I can turn it to the right. And if you look from the top side as I'm turning this, it very gradually moves down. So you can use this to adjust it to a different position or kind of get it unstuck while you're trying to figure out what's going on. Stern kind of indicated that there's 2 main things to check while you're under here. First of all, this giant like threaded rod here that helps move the building up and down should be lubed. You might be able to see it's kind of a greenish color. So that's from the lube that's on there. So make sure it's still got the lube on it. If it does, no need to touch it, just leave it alone. And next, the most likely thing that's going to help here for this customer is the adjustment to adjust the building angle to make it lean forward or back. I could see how if they didn't get it just right from the factory, it might start rubbing, and they have these adjustment nuts deliberately for this purpose, to be able to adjust that angle. So the nuts that I'm talking about are specifically right here and right here. I know there's a lot of other nuts surrounding, but it's those 2 specifically. So it looks like on those 2 specific nuts, there's kind of a spacer behind that seems to be kind of rubbery. So I could see how that would allow you to tighten or loosen it and adjust the position, but it kind of holds its place. Whereas the corresponding nuts on the back corners of the building are plastic, and they really don't have any give in them. So it looks like the intention is to tighten or loosen the nuts on the front corners, and that allows you to lean the building forward or back, which I could see how that would help you adjust the angle so that it doesn't rub on anything. So I'm going to use a 11/32 nut driver here, and this one happens to be perfectly fine, so I'm going to try to get it to land back in the position that it was, but I will demonstrate. This is a pretty subtle adjustment, but I could see how it would help. So let's say that you determine that your building is leaning forward a little bit and you want it to lean back a little bit to help with the clearance. You would tighten it. So tightening it makes it lean back further, and you would do both sides. And I would do small amounts at a time and then retest. So what I did there, I tightened these 2 nuts here, and that basically made it go like this. Or if you're thinking about it from the building perspective, tightening the nuts made it kind of go like that, just a little bit. It's really subtle, but that's all you should really need is subtle adjustments. So what you could do at this point is turn it by hand and rerun it and see if it's still getting stuck, or if you need to, you can turn the game back on and do a building test. Same goes with the opposite. If the building is too far back and you need to make it lean forward a little bit, you would loosen the nuts. Okay, I hope this was helpful. I actually just recently, kind of learned about this a little bit further, and I'm curious to try it again if I do ever have a building that needs adjusting locally. So we're gonna have the customer try this and see where we can get. But each time you make an adjustment, retest it and see if it improves, see if it's hanging up. And if you think you're ready to run the building test again, you can run the building test again. One more important note, also make sure that no foreign objects have fallen into it. In this case, the customer is missing one of his bridge screws and we have not found where it is. So he's going to spend a little extra time looking to see if the screw has fallen anywhere that it shouldn't have. A lot of times the screw will fall all the way through the playfield, go in the cabinet. It may stick to the speaker or the coin box, or it may be resting on one of the braces or something like that. Stern did say they had a case where there was a black screw that fell into the building neck and got wedged. Now looking at this, I'm not sure exactly where it would have gone to wedge the building. Oh, maybe it was, maybe it would have been in the crack surrounding the building. In the case of this customer, we have been able to move the building a little bit here and there, so I kind of doubt it's in that crack, but take some extra time and look around and see if you see a screw that could have gotten wedged somewhere. When you're ready to close it back up, here's how you place it back down. Place it forward till about here. Slide it till you encounter a bump. And then you can either just give it an extra push over the bump, or there's a handle in the back you can pick up. For me, it's easier to just do it from the front side. Then you lower it into place. Gently drop the balls on the playfield. Slide the glass back into place. Line up the lock-on bar, slide it in. Flip the latches up and over, and lock them into place and shut the door. Remember that when you start up the game, it likes to see the coin door closed or it won't fully finish booting. From here, I'm going to retest my building and make sure I didn't introduce any issues. I'm going to pull the interlock switch, go into the diagnostics, game specific test, building stepper test. Looks and sounds great. You'll notice at the top, it kind of adjusts itself a little bit and it makes sure that the building is level with the playfield, because in this position, the ball can roll through it. So this is working great. So I'm just going to back out of the menu and this will be ready to play.